outside. Evelyn watched the other patrons, their faces hidden in the dim light. A woman in a long, flowing gown sipped tea, her gloved hand trembling slightly. Two men in frock coats huddled over a chessboard, their game played in complete silence. A young woman with a faraway look in her eyes sat alone, her fingers tracing patterns on the tabletop. Their attire, their mannerisms, it was as if they had stepped out of a history book. The air crackled with an unseen energy, a palpable sense of time displaced. Evelyn couldn't shake off the feeling that she had stumbled into something extraordinary, something perhaps not meant for her eyes. The bell above the door chimed again, but no one entered. Evelyn glanced at the door, then back at the empty doorway. A cold draft swept through the cafe, and she felt a shiver run down her spine. The whispers seemed to grow louder, the shadows deeper, and Evelyn felt a growing sense of dread. She looked down at her coffee, its surface reflecting her own startled face. The unease intensified, a knot of apprehension tightening in her stomach.